Blah, blah, blah. Hey, welcome to damn it.
That's what you get. That's what you get. You don't troll the Buddha right before the show.
Shut up. Welcome to the 82nd episode of Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine. My name is Sojo, and I am here with my co-hosts, Hater Harriet and Pushy Paula. Tonight, we are joined by a very special guest. We've been looking forward to this for a very long time. We have got Rod from the Black Guy Who Tips. What's up, Rod?
What's going on, ladies? Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Oh, I get an audience applause. Thank you, audience.
Yes. You get sound effects over here. Now, you just rushed off your show into ours. You all right?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Anytime we can get Justin out of here, the earlier the better. He totally derails the show on Tuesday, so I had a built-in excuse to get him out of the house.
Yeah, always picking on him.
He's if you guys had to host a show with him too, you would.
I didn't realize, because I hadn't been keeping up with my premium stuff, but I didn't realize the whole light skin side thing y'all got going on. I got to go back and listen to that stuff, because...
Yeah, that was his idea. He has his own show now. It's called Another Light Skin Moment, and basically it's just him. He picks the concept, the topic, and then he talks about it, and me and Karen are the guests. So it's like an opposite show.
Yes, I definitely have to listen to that one. Okay, so let's just get right into it. First of all, we have been wanting to have you on for a very long time. I think Karen was our first guest ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like, it was super amazing to us because she was like, hey, you know, can I come on the show? And we were actually surprised because we were fans of you guys, but we didn't know, like, because we were new in the podcasting game, we didn't know how to, like, you know, reach out to have people on the show and stuff like that. So when she reached out to us, we were just, like, ecstatic. And I think her and Leonard Brothers are now tied for being on the show the most number of times. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, since y'all are married, this actually will put y'all on top of Leonard Brothers. So I don't know how he's gonna feel about that, but
Trolling LB. Let me tweet him right now. Let him know.
So no, he already said, "Oh, right on, word. Okay, I'll be there."
I guess half of her appearances go to me if we ever get divorced. So it's like I already been on the show a lot.
True that. Now, when she was on, we gave her her alcohol name because it seems like when we got people on now, we start giving them liquor names. So, like, we had Kimber Fuzz on, who's like our resident sports expert. Mm-hmm. And her name is Vodka. I think LB's name is Cognac, and then we named Karen Southern Comfort. So, so if you had to give yourself a liquor name, what would you name yourself?
Oh man, I don't. Shoot, I've never really thought about this. I don't know what I would name myself. Maybe I don't know. I normally like whiskey and stuff, and I just mix it with something sweet like ginger ale or soda like Coke and rum or something like that. So I don't know, man. Maybe I just name myself after, like, instead of Jack Daniels, or just name myself like Black Daniels or something.
That okay? We can go with that. But that's actually how we got our name, because we were doing our different personalities. So that's how we came up with Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine. And then when we were talking to Karen, okay, I don't like Southern Comfort because it's horrible afterwards. You know, you get a hangover or whatever. But the name Southern Comfort fits Karen so much. Mm-hmm. So we were just like, yeah, that's perfect for you.
Like, she doesn't even drink a lot, but when she drinks, you know, it's always something sweet, and always a little bit ratchet. So that's basically Southern Comfort.
True. We got people in the chat. Let's say Jeffrey has always checked in early, said, "Hey sisters, looking pretty as always." Thank you, Jeff. He also said, "What's up to Rod?"
Going on, Jeffrey?
And he also said, "Can he call in now?" No, you can't. Not tonight, Jeffrey.
No.
And then Hustle Crow is in the house, so he said, "What up, young?" Um, and LB just joined us, so he missed all that shade from earlier, but
Oh, I love it.
but we'll let that go. Rod, we're gonna go ahead and do our feedback, and then we'll kind of get into the topics and stuff.
Okay.
Just to let everybody know how you can reach us, you can email us at feedback@whiskeywineandmoonshine.com. And we did get an email the other day from Jada.
We're not gonna tell people what you guys are drinking.
Oh shoot, I forgot. Buddha, you got beverages?
I do. I'm doing a white tonight. So I'm doing a Pinot
White what?
Grigio. Huh?
Oh, okay. You said a white. I don't know if you've been like white. I don't know.
Like white what? What are you saying?
I know you go to
What's
hotels.
going
I
on?
don't know what you do in those hotels, so I was just trying to make sure we're all clear.
I mean, you're an honest woman now, but you still have that hotel life, so we don't.
Listen, when the last time you heard me? You know what? That's fine. Just wait. It's coming back. That's all you need to know. At any rate, triflings. I'm doing a white wine. Don't laugh at them, right? It's a Pinot Grigio. It's called Chloe. So I don't usually drink whites, but because I am an honest woman, we got white wine glasses for the wedding. So we decided we would actually drink out of them and try white wine. So it's okay, though.
Do you want to tell Rod about your intervention that we keep trying to stage?
No, Moonshine.
She's an alcoholic now.
You don't.
I have known her since I was 14, and this last year and a half, she started to drink a whole lot. So,
Now, do y'all think that's a coincidence that the podcast really started about a year and a half ago?
Exactly. I wonder what that has to do with them. Yeah.
Honestly, she didn't even drink whiskey. I just said her personality was like whiskey, and then she started drinking whiskey. So
sounded to me like y'all bad influences, and y'all trying to make it her fault.
Thank
Y'all,
Thank you.
First of all, let me stop right there, cause Rod, you be up early in the morning too with her. So
Exactly.
Morning beauties, hydrating, motivating for a run, gonna do body pump. That's some bullshit.
Whatever. And he's playing basketball on Wednesdays or whatever it is. So yeah.
You gotta hydrate to get that, the alcohol robs some of the nutrients out.
See?
And you get on your grind. I don't see anything wrong with that.
That's right. That's right. I mean, what about y'all?
In the mornings. But she is Smart, did you get a beverage? Because you said you.
No, I did not get a. Well, I have juice and water, so those are my beverages. Sorry.
I am.
I just brought the whole crowd down, right?
I am so disappointed in you right now. Like,
I haven't eaten anything much, and so I can't. I'm not trying to get drunk off of the smell of alcohol and be doing all kinds of craziness, and then send y'all a message on WhatsApp whatever. I'm doing the right thing for me. I'm living my truth.
We love when you send us drunken messages on WhatsApp.
I know.
Rod, did you have time to get a beverage, or
Yeah, I started drinking before we did our show.
All right.
Amen.
Yeah, I got a big vase full of, if people can see this, a big vase full of ginger ale and I think this is Jim Beam Red Stag whiskey, but the ginger ale is cranberry ginger ale, so it's sweet, but it's kind of strong, make your chest burn, tastes like cold syrup.
I still remember when you had whiskey, wine, and moonshine.
Yeah, I didn't have time to go shopping today, but if I would have been able to go by the ABC store, I would have done it again. Although I was a bit blitzed out of my mind after the election.
I remember, I think at one point you were like, "Whoa."
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as the time we drank Four Loko when we did our show with Chris and Brandon. We did a marathon. That's probably the worst it's ever been on the show. Like, my face was burning and I couldn't remember a lot of the stuff that happened, but it definitely packs a punch if you try to drink all three at the same time.
Yeah, that Four Loco show was hilarious. Like, yeah, y'all were crazy. I actually have moonshine. I haven't had moonshine in a long time. I made a smoothie. It's strawberries, pineapples, and moonshine. That was a gift to me, so it's not necessarily a brand. So it's the authentic stuff. So that's what I have, but it's more fruit than moonshine. Just so you know.
Don't try it.
No, I'm serious.
I mean, just don't try it. I've tasted real moonshine, that real moonshine that you had before. I mean, it tasted like actual, like the rubbing alcohol that you put on your skin. Like I'm like, how do you survive? Like how do your organs resist?
I forgot. That's when I brought that to that slumber party that time.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm just like, you can't even smell it. It smells like something that belongs in your medicine cabinet. You're like drinking it. Talk about, I'm putting it in a smoothie. It's infused. That's bullshit.
My cousin brought some moonshine to Christmas one year. He brought moonshine and he brought rum cake, and the rum cake was like flammable. Like, I'm not even sure he cooked it. Like, did he pour the rum on the cake after he just made a regular ass cake? Because that's. And then the moonshine felt like you could start a car, man. He was
right.
He kept being like, well, "How come nobody drinking?" It's like, nigga, we want to live.
I know. Yeah.
No,
okay,
like that, but right? When you do infuse it with fruits or fruit juice or something like that, it does have it tastes like a regular beverage. It really does. Now, if you're gonna drink it straight, it will taste like paint thinner. I'm not even gonna lie, but
here's the thing. You could do an enema with water, or you can do an enema with coffee. It is still a damn enema. So I don't feel like adding this fruit to it. That doesn't clean it up at all. Okay, it is still
tastes better. I mean, come on, people drink vodka. Vodka doesn't taste well alone, but when you put it with something, I see your face.
It's not just the taste.
It's a turn to me.
It's not just the taste. We're worried about your liver. Is it still working? It's
but I don't drink that often. You drink more than I do now.
Yes, like 2 proof.
Yeah. I hate y'all. Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
You guys can email us at feedback@whiskeywineandmoonshine.com. And we did get feedback letter. It says, "Hey guys, my name is Jada and I'm a big fan of the podcast. Recently I noticed that The Coven became available on Netflix. I decided to binge watch it since I heard on your past shows that you did a commentary for it. I definitely had some similar issues with the season that you all had and found myself saying huh out loud to myself several times. I have also listened to all of the YouTube videos, but I noticed the playlist doesn't contain a video for the magical delights of Stevie Nicks and the Protect the Coven episodes. Is there somewhere else online where I can access these videos? I would love to hear you all's comments on Kathy Bates thinking she could kill someone with Benadryl." I forgot about that.
Forgot about that too.
"Thanks for talking about women, black people, and black women issues that you don't hear about on the news or in everyday conversation around the water cooler. Keep doing your thing, ladies." I did respond to her in an email to tell her about those particular episodes because I think that's when we had that week of fatigue, and we ended up having Queen Neen on the show like that next week or whatever. So when she had difficulties, we did half of the podcast basically trolling those 2 episodes, and then the other half was the one she was on. But just in case anybody was looking for those 2, it is the one where we had Queen Neen on, which I think is episode 36. So, it's that one. And yeah, I remember when we used to do the Coven episodes. That was fun to do the episodes, but
that time it was an ugly time. Let's not talk about that.
It was fun, but it was a lot.
It was a lot. I mean, especially when you go in really liking a show, and then it starts to go off the rails, but you have committed to your audience that you're gonna review it.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's it the one the vampire one, Rod? True Blood.
It's called True Blood, yeah.
Don't hide the exasperation. Let it out.
Yeah, it was the last season, and I probably wouldn't even have watched it if we didn't review it every Tuesday. And I'm, I have a completionist like mindset. I always try to finish the things that I start. So I stuck with the terrible show, and we reviewed it all the way through. But there isn't anything worse than when you realize it's just never gonna get better.
Oh.
Yeah, a bad relationship.
But I will say, as the podcast fan and listener, it's actually funny living it through you, because I stopped watching True Blood. I did not finish the series, but I listened to the episodes every week just to hear you go, okay.
Everybody said that too. That's like, I'm not watching it, but I'm so glad you guys kept watching it. So
Yeah.
I guess we did, we did the Lord's work for everybody, because that was terrible.
Y'all did, because I could have a conversation with people who watched it about what happened, but I didn't have to torture myself to actually go through and watch it. So
That's called community service. That's community service, Ron. Thanks.
No problem. You guys are welcome. Some people don't watch. We found out that some people don't watch like Walking Dead, or they don't watch Game of Thrones because it's like it's too scary or it's too violent. But they'll listen to us talk about it, and then they have like a working knowledge of the show, so like they can talk to people at work about it and stuff like that, which is crazy because I do take pride in that, because it means we're covering it well enough that you can fake it till you make it, which is cool.
yeah.
Cliff notes.
Because even with Walking Dead, I started going to sleep earlier, so a lot of times I wouldn't watch it with everybody else, and I would actually wait for y'all to review it and then go back and watch it, because so I would have that conversation, because people always want to talk. They know I'm a Walking Dead fan, so they always want to talk to me about it, but I would listen to y'all first, and then I'm talking about it, then I'll go back and actually watch the episode.
That's interesting, man. I can't imagine it. Like, do you feel spoiled, or do you just kind of like, you don't mind being spoiled? You like knowing what's coming up?
Yeah, I don't care about spoilers. Like, I always tell people that. Tell me who dies, because even like I will go on IMDb and try to figure out who's gonna die, who's not gonna be listed on the upcoming episodes. Like when they kill Beth, like right when I was like, oh shit, somebody finna die. Let me see.
Yeah, like when they show you appearing in 7 episodes, you're like, wait, ain't the season 16? The worst is when they trick you on IMDb, because they'll be like appearing in 12 episodes, and there's 12 episodes in the season, but they don't tell you that like 3 of those was flashbacks because they died in week 9.
Yep. I actually freaked out when I didn't click more. When you get the characters and you don't click more, and I didn't see Glenn on there. And that's when I tweeted, oh shit, because I thought it was good. I said, oh, click more. Oh, okay, we good. And then I think that's right when they shot Beth. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was cool. One person hit us up and got mad because they were like, why did you name the episode Rest in Peace so and so? Because we don't do the show till Tuesday. You really won't see it till normally Wednesday morning. They were like, it came in my feed and this spoiled the show. I was like, the show was on Sunday.
Yeah, come on.
That ain't on me.
I mean, by that time, everybody knows, especially when you're on social media, because I know everybody gets into the argument about spoilers on the East Coast versus West Coast, but just, it's gonna come up. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Okay, so we did get an iTunes. Let's see. We got an iTunes review. You guys can, of course, leave us 5-star reviews on iTunes, and we will read all of your 5-star reviews. We got that from the Black Guy Who Tips, but Rob,
right.
Where did y'all get that idea of doing the 5-star review?
We made it up, man. I was like, I personally do not like criticism. I know a lot of people have pass that out through society that all criticism is good. I disagree. Most criticism is terrible because it's from people that either don't care or don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So I wanted to make sure that people were engaged with the show, so if they did have something critical to say or even something positive to say, I'll know they listened to the show because they left 5 stars, right? So if you leave 5 stars and then you go, hey man, the mic volume is a little too loud and the music in the background, I'm not a fan, at least I know that you're a person that listens to the show because you listen long enough to hear about the 5-star review policy. But if you get somebody that gives you 1 star, typically it's not very detailed. Typically the what they're saying is typically like something that where they haven't been paying attention. stuff like, oh, I don't get why the show talks about current events, but they also talk about black people or something. You're just like, oh, now why would that person write? So we wanted to have like a buy-in, like, hey, give us 5 stars. It moves us up in the rankings on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever. And then leave us a review. If it's critical, it's fine. We promise we'll read it. You will be heard. If it's not critical and it's positive, but it's not 5 stars, you're not really doing us a favor anyway. Like, give us the extra star. What is it going to hurt in your life to be like, it's only a 4-star podcast, but I gave it 5. Like, it won't hurt anybody. So we just try to keep that, and it keeps it kind of positive, and it encourages people to give feedback. And I think so many shows have adopted it. And it really is like you guys have dealt with it. It's really a positive experience to get that like that feedback and that boost of like, hey, I like you guys. I'm engaged with your show, and I think you guys are doing the right thing.
Yeah, and I did, when I realized you guys did that, I said, that's such a cool concept. Like you said, it does have to be somebody that actually listens to even know that you do that anyway. So if they take the time out to do it, then,
Because people are petty. Like, people will be like, I don't like what Sojo said on Twitter. I'm going to go leave a 1-star review for her podcast. Like, I ain't listened to it. I don't care what it's about, but she said Bill Cosby a rapist, and I'm mad. So they'll go, they do petty stuff like that, and we wanted to kind of avoid that, giving those people attention, because a lot of trolls feed off of your attention. They feed off of bringing your good vibrations down, and once they get you on their level, where you're giving attention to somebody who's ultimately just a hindrance upon whatever you're trying to accomplish, I feel like they're winning. So I'm like, okay, you can troll me, but there's a cost for trolling us. 5 stars, and you can troll away. We will probably dismiss whatever you said anyway, but at least we got something out of the deal. And so far, I'm happy with the results. And then if you're actually a fan, what's better than knowing I will be heard whenever I write in? So if I write in a 5-star review, I know for a fact Rod and Karen will see this and they'll talk about it.
And y'all get a lot of feedback.
They do.
Because everybody loves y'all.
We do. But it's cool, though. Like, we got a cool-ass audience, and the feedback show, honestly, is my favorite show. Like, it's the only one I don't got to do research for the topics. So
that's real talk right there.
Right there, I got the day off, And then also, I love hearing what people think about what we think, even when they disagree, even when I think it's stupid or whatever. At least I know, like, well, they listened, and then this is what they came up with as a response. And sometimes, you learn stuff. I thought that last week, I thought that the AKAs and the I guess the Divine Nine, most of the sororities and fraternities, the black ones, were like, hey, don't wear our gear to protest. We don't want our paraphernalia when you guys getting arrested. And I was like, this is a fucking dumb idea. Let these people do it. If anything, it's positive relations for your fraternity or sorority, because I'm gonna be like, wow, look at the Deltas. They put it all on the line. They care about Black lives. And people wrote in, and they actually were able to kind of give me the other side of that, so I could be like, okay, maybe they're not evil. They just they have reasons that that they don't want to see their stuff at different protests. I can understand it. Whereas before the feedback show, I was consigned that I was right and everybody was dumb.
And we actually are going to talk about some stuff too, because I watched Sorority Sisters last night, and I know, Rod, you watched it. These two didn't watch it, so we going to...
Oh, let's get ratchet.
Yeah, we going to talk about it.
Let me just say, I watch a lot of trash, but I'm discerning about my trash. Like, I don't watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or New York. I don't watch them, but I do watch The Real Preachers of LA. Okay? So when I saw these girls, Rod's all moving around, when I saw this sorority girl thing, I gave them the time to watch the extended trailer. None of them grabbed me.
Yeah. I will say this. I think Mona Scott is starting to do this move where, a lot of people do it once they have an empire. I think she has these people film the pilot first before she comes in with her team. And this felt very much like a pilot. They didn't even have, I don't know if you noticed, they didn't even have cutaways. Normally they do the cutaway like they do the whole like, hey girl, how you doing? Oh, we doing great, aka for life. Then they always have a cutaway like, this bitch shoes was terrible. First of all, she's broke. I looked around our house and I saw roaches. Like they do that away from the thing. Music. They didn't even do that. So I was like, like I could tell Mona didn't have anything to do with it. Their makeup was not on fleek. Shout out to Karen. So it was like it looks so unprofessional that I'm pretty sure that's a palette, and by the end of the season, Mona will have her shine on it.
No, because it's not Mona doing it. That's the thing. Mona shot the show. Oh. Mona shot the show initially, and I think the sororities and fraternities did a petition, and then it was dropped. Somebody else pitched the idea again to VH1. So they're picking up that show. Now, whether or not Mona is getting a kickback because that was her show initially, I don't know, because I quietly think she's still making money off of it either way it goes.
Well, someone told me that they spoke to one of the girls and that she was she did casting for it. So she is somehow related to it.
Yeah, we read an article today that on Huffington Post that said, hey, Mona Scott Young, we want you to shut this down, but I think it's an old article from like June, so I don't know if if it still applies today or not.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, when they did that, it was this big uproar. Then they had this whole petition and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, nobody heard anything about it. And that's what was weird about the show, was that normally when Love and Hip Hop and all this stuff comes on, you get, like, the publicity for it months in advance. You know it's coming. But with this, we didn't really know until they released that super trailer. Then we're like, what the hell? They didn't, we had a petition that went away, and so it was almost like it was super rushed. So everybody was confused. So it's interesting. The whole thing is interesting because now we have called to boycott Pizza Hut and Hershey's and.
Wait, why Pizza Hut and Hershey's? What they do?
Wait, let me do the feedback. Hold on. Let me do the feedback.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Okay, so
I got a question about that too, but anyway.
Okay. Jamie Star 26 said, great show plus with beautiful sisters. Thank you, ladies, for consistently bringing a great podcast with great content and intelligent discussion. Thank you also for resurrecting words of that great 20th century prophet O'Shea Jackson. His words were true in the 80s, and they are still true today. Keep up the great work. Love the podcast. Thank you, Jamie Starr, for that 5-star review. But yeah, going back to the show, so I don't even know where to begin with it, because do we begin with the pushback, or do we begin with talking about the show itself, or because y'all didn't see it?
I want to begin with the pushback, which is, why is there pushback?
It's pushback for the same reason Don Lemon wants Rod to pull his pants up. For the same reason.
That's the thing. Like, why? Like, where is the organized pushback for all these other shows? And then all of a sudden, I don't like this particular show, but the same representation, the same sorts of things that you already see that you aren't complaining about. I don't understand.
But no, because Sharmika now can look like that. You see, we're special. So we can't, if they're out there wearing the letters across their breasts and everything or on their jackets, then my God, if somebody sees my car in the corporate parking lot, they're going to think I act like that. There you go.
I mean, but it's like, if they see.
Have y'all heard what we supposed to be boycotting now?
No.
What are we boycotting now?
So, okay, there is a call for us to, and now, you know what, because I feel like I'm finna get in trouble, but I don't care.
See.
No, see, okay, let me tell you. I made the mistake of texting my mama and saying, why don't you turn on VH1? I didn't give her any backstory.
Why you do Mama Sojo like that?
I didn't give her any backstory. Why don't you turn on VH1?
So,
she texted me in all caps, like, caps. What is this? And I was like, it's called Sorority Sisters, Mom. So at 1:30, she sent me an email that anyway.
1:30 a.m.?
Yeah, 1:30 a.m. Anyway, the thinking now is and this actually started on Twitter, is to boycott the advertisers of the show in VH1. So they got a list of all the advertisers, and so we are supposed to be tweeting the companies, and I think there's actually an article on the Root that says, so you hate VH1 sorority sisters and want to do something effective to stop it. First suggestion was, well, the first thing was these shows are in the can, so if you're simply telling VH1 that you're mad, they don't care, they'll keep playing them. Number two, if you say you won't watch, they don't care, plenty of people will watch.
Amen.
And then they said, so
the same people who are watching the Housewives and everything else.
Hello, because
I don't watch everything now. I told you I'm discerning.
That's all right, but it's enough overlap. The Venn diagram overlaps enough that it doesn't matter. It's just too many hypocrites.
Like when you weren't watching it, I knew you weren't watching it because you had some moral high ground. It just didn't pull you, but people are actually morally offended. But they do live tweet or Facebook Real Housewives and stuff every week. But that's
exactly. It's the same representation. So.
But this is number 4. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Watch, yes, watch. But as you watch the commercials. Identify advertisers quickly, and then send negative tweets with the following: the advertiser's official Twitter address, sorority sisters hashtag, so it trends to people who don't know what you're doing. Then boycott. Insert the advertiser's name plus boycott sorority sisters. If you're very specific about what product you're not going to buy because of their support of sorority sisters, then you win even more. So I started seeing this stuff come up on Twitter after the show, and it said sorority sisters is offensive to black women at, for example, Nissan. I'm not going to buy your XYZ car because you supported boycott Nissan, boycott sorority sisters. So I saw I saw a tweet to Pizza Hut that they were going to now go to Domino's.
Taking my time with the Papa John's, you sons of bitches. How dare you do us like that?
To Hershey's, and these are some of my favorites. Like
I was saying now, I eat some Hershey's now. Hold on.
Hey, these boycott people got to pick better targets because it's certain shit I don't give a fuck what they against. I'm supporting it. Like, you can't be out here talking about some Popeye's chicken is against. Oh, well, it's too bad, isn't it? Because
ooh, Miss Smart, go sign.
What? No, I was just saying Chick-fil-A. I tried, but I mean, they chicken.
Listen, I did not boycott Chick-fil-A about that shit.
Right. I fought the good fight for about 2 hours. all the boycott did was remind me that I hadn't had Chick-fil-A in a while.
Right.
Right. It's like, damn, they did have some good sandwiches. Because I hadn't had Hershey's Kisses in a long time, and I was like, ooh, Hershey's. Ooh, pizza.
Right.
Wait
I showed up in the drive-through Chick-fil-A, scratching my neck like like Tyrone Biggums and shit. Like, I don't need 2 chicken sandwiches.
And the thing is, because I did watch it, and I watched it I actually watched it because I wanted to twatch it, because it's different. It's a difference between watching a TV show and twatching a TV show, because you get the whole experience. You get the people. First of all, you get the people who are not members of organizations, who hate organizations, and they just watching it just to troll and to see, that's what I thought, whatever. So you get that area. Then you get the people who are in organizations who just watching for the kicks, just like everybody else want to see what's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Then you got the people who are watching it because they're mad. And, they want to fight everybody that's kind of tweeting about it. And then you got the people who were neutral going in, and now they're just, like, caught up, like, what the fuck? I thought this was going to be, like, any other thing, and now I see all these explosions. So last night was interesting to me watching the show, because there was nothing on it that made it any worse than anything that I saw on any other show.
Exactly.
Are you a member of a sorority?
All three of us
are.
Okay, so maybe I think some of those people are taking it on some well, it was okay when it was just women acting crazy for a record deal, but now it's us, and it's like watching the show. Any of these shows, by the way, you either believe in the whole respectability politics or you don't, and I don't think black people are a monolith. And I don't think a TV show is any more of a reflection on my personal life than The Sopranos is on Italian people's personal lives. So for me personally, I'll watch any of this shit. I didn't feel any I wasn't watching it going, black women, aren't you all like this? No, that's only an idiot thinks like that, and you shouldn't cater to idiots by appeasing them in their worldview and being like, I accept that all black people and all black women are represented by these whack ass shows. If you're not gonna watch it, just don't watch it because it's not good. It's really not a good show. But don't not watch it out of some like moral obligation because it's really a waste of time.
It is. I mean, you summed it up perfectly because and I did see some people who they have friends that are in organizations, but they really don't know, like, the ins and outs. So some people genuinely are watching shows thinking, well, is this how y'all act? Is this what you do? And some people will, like, I had some people text me and they were like, I'm going to watch and I'm going to ask you questions, and I'm like, cool. But if you know me, you know how I act, just in general. So if you're watching that, I don't act like that. So
you would let a TV show inform you more than real life knowing somebody? Like, it just seems so crazy to me to be like, so Joe, I watched a show about it, and I know you, but fuck that, y'all crazy because I watched a TV show, and like that's so crazy. Like, honestly, I wish if I could, like, if I was a fairy or like a magical like wizard or some shit, and I could just like do a spell. I wish I could do a spell on black people that made us stop associating negative shit with ourselves. Like, we can't control how white people view us, but this idea that we all need to act right or the white man gonna be racist, you can save your breath. They gonna be racist. Like,
that's true.
Like, stop worrying about what they think about you. I talk to my father sometimes, and we'll talk about, like, he's a big he's not a fan of reality TV and stuff like that. He thinks it makes black people look bad. And I had to, pull him to the side and be like, look, there's people that I guarantee think my show makes black people look bad. Because there's people that are gonna go, you guys, you make these jokes and you do this and you talk about these topics and black people shouldn't do that. And I was like, we have to stop with the sickness of letting them infect our minds. Like, it's okay for us to be all over the place. We're a spectrum. Some of us are one place, some of us are another. And until we accept that, no one's going to give that to us. We have to take it because we deserve it. And that means for the ratchet shit as well, we have to be like, those are those individuals, but that's not actually a reflection of every sorority. If you think that, then that's like saying Love and Hip Hop is a reflection of every black marriage. Like, you'd be a fool.
Right. Exactly.
That's what me and Miss Smart talked about last week, actually. The idea of the white default or whiteness as the standard, and we have to be a good kind of black in order to appease or meet the standards of whites. But right. the flip side of that, I guess, is, and this is my personal challenge, is that we are a spectrum, and yet I don't think that we have enough of the spectrum represented in images. So, for me personally, I think a lot of those shows make people look bad, not even just black people, but black women, yes, but people in general. And so for me, I want programming that makes people think more highly of each other in general. So that's what I support.
With that, because that's what me and my dad went to, and I had to tell him this is one of the mottos of my life. People ain't shit. Like, they talk a good game, they don't believe that. If, like, BET actually has its own channel dedicated to black women and kind of uplifting black women. I've forgotten the name of it because that's how little I care. But it's like positive programming. But I don't want to see positive programming, and most of us don't. We want to see a spectacle. So as much as we're like, oh, I would support these things, I really think human nature in general, not black human nature, just human nature in general, we want to see the train wreck more than we want to see the upliftment of anybody. We talk like we do, but upliftment is boring. Like, if we actually had a reality show of just nothing but positive things happen, like, and they did get that house, and they did, and he didn't cheat, and they respected each other. But people watch that about 5 minutes and be like,
no,
I don't.
But look, Cosby Show. So
Cosby Show, but I will say this. Let me hop in on this, because with the reality TV genre, the positive stuff doesn't work. Like the positive stuff doesn't get ratings. The more, and that's why they keep upping the ante. It feels like, and I said this in WhatsApp last night. It feels like one big ass Hunger Games of
Unscripted
reality
TV,
show.
not even reality TV, unscripted television.
Yeah, unscripted. Although that shit last night was totally scripted. Like you can
Yeah.
tell. Like she was like, my sorority sister. We don't call each other sorority sisters. And then she was like, and then
Well, it depends on how you got made. But anyway.
you know what? See how you gonna act. You see, this is why they think this of us.
Right.
Excuse me. Sorry. Go ahead.
But
See,
seriously,
Nicole, see, she just expressed why they wrote the show that way. That is exactly what happened. It was like you can tell that the plot line is gonna be that one girl went paper or post grad. Like you can already see that it's gonna happen, and that's what people want to see. Don't nobody want to see sisters getting along. I'm sorry, but it wouldn't even be a reality show if they brought a pilot to VH1 with like, and then we built a house for Habitat of Humanity. They'd be like, if you don't get the hell out of my office and come back.
We saw that casting call, and it was funny because all it had was like your love for your sorority and blah 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 blah. But you can tell if anything says reality TV, blah blah blah.
Right.
What you're looking for when you walk in is the most. They want to see a show where
conflict.
You got some kind of dysfunction, you have some kind of conflict, and you have an extra ass personality where you doing the damn most. And they got all of that.
Should we even be looking for positivity on 10, 9, 8 o'clock cable television at this point? Like, I guess, and like I said, I know it's impossible, but I wish as black people we could undo that thinking, because I feel like it's mostly harmful when it's like, oh, like I feel like we select the negativity, like, oh, this represents me more so than say the career of Will Smith or Jada Pinkett Smith, or like this is the thing that we latch on to, is like we need to erase this, because subconsciously it's still like, because the white people are watching y'all, like they gonna know that we not perfect, and then it's gonna justify their racism. Where if you watch TV with the same lens and thought, hey, every time I see white people acting up, I'm gonna consider it a shame on white people, right? If we started watching TV that way, we would think white people, like, we would be like, yo, white people are way worse than black people. Like, most of the shit on TV is white people not being shit.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that we've had this conversation. Actually, we had it all last year because of shows like Scandal and Being Mary Jane and other stuff, because women would take those characters. They would take Olivia Pope and want to be Olivia Pope, or they would take Mary Jane. Like, even when BET had that contest, I am Mary Jane.
I remember that.
They had to describe all of the ways that they were like Mary Jane. I'm like, Mary Jane stuck a turkey baster in her vagina with some frozen sperm in the refrigerator. Why are you trying to be Mary Jane? Like, I mean, and she did have all these good qualities, but it kind of scared me to the fact that when black characters come on TV, we automatically want to be that person, or say this person is like me or that person is not like me. And white people don't watch TV like that. Like, they're not, they don't. And I know that they have more images to choose from or whatever, but it just seems like that's our automatic default.
Forget about the number of images they have to choose from, because I don't like. Just think about what's the most popular shows, right? You have the Netflix show with Kevin Spacey. I forget the name of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, House of Cards.
House of Cards. That dude's a piece of shit, right? He was up for an award. You have Breaking Bad. That dude's a drug dealing piece of shit. He's up for an award. Sopranos won all these awards. A mobster who's racist and kills people and cheats on his wife. This is what the world is. This is what America is. We worship the negativity. But it feels like it only counts against black people. Like, it doesn't count, or at least black people, we count it against ourselves to a large part. And like I said, I still struggle with it. I'm trying to erase that mentality out of my being, because I feel like it's mostly negative, man. Like, it feels like I don't get to count any wins. I only count the losses, which is, oh man, I love How to Get Away with Murder, but why Annalise got to be cheating on her man? Like, it just fucks me up, and there's no way I can win the game if I play it that way. So I'm trying to start a new game where I just go, I like this character because they're compelling, not necessarily just like, well, they're compelling, but they have to also be morally upright, or else it doesn't represent, or else it represents black people. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to erase it. I know it's an uphill battle. It'll probably never really happen. I think black people, because of our history in this country, will always kind of be stuck on this. But I don't know, man. I would love to if we could just erase that shit out of our minds, because it's not helping. And there's no white person out here who wasn't racist and then watched Scandal and got racist. Like they racist. Like they hate you or they don't already. It's nothing you can do about it.
I would also add, in addition to holding white people as the standard bearer, we seem to ignore as Lady Buddha always says, the power of and. So these young ladies could be on a VH1 show, and they could very well have had 4.0s in college. They could very well, on their non-taping time, do the Habitat for Humanity stuff. But people choose to only, and even if they saw pictures of these girls doing these things, they would say, "Oh, those are staged," and they would never say the bad stuff is staged. Like, it's so much easier to put them in that box and only believe the negative box. But I swear to you, you can twerk and run a business. I've seen it done.
That's
like,
true.
It happens all the time.
I mean, K. Michelle, I know people have that image of her from VH1, but she's super nice, super smart. She was Miss FAMU. She yodeled. I mean, she had all this stuff, but she really should have done the country. But I mean, but people don't believe that she could be those two people. Now, I haven't seen her other reality show to show the softer side of her or whatever. But I mean, people weren't giving her at first the space to be two different kinds of people, like the love and hip hop.
Nobody's seen that show, by the way.
They tried to force us to watch it by having your DVR go an hour and a half, and you like, wait a minute, love and hip hop is off? What is this?
And I saw the trailer, and the reason, and here's the truth, I didn't watch it because it was too positive. She was being nice. She was trying to accomplish goals.
Oh goodness!
I want to get my singing career out the ground. I want to meet with my father and reconcile that, and I want to go to my friend's wedding. I'm like, what is this? Like, you gonna hit somebody or throw a bottle at somebody? Don't nobody want to see this. You can't go from bottle throwing to going to see what your DNA heritage is. Like, nobody want to see that. And I feel like I'm being honest about that. And I think a lot of us kind of we talk a good game, but we're not being honest with ourselves. Like, we don't want to see that. Like, get to being ratchet, because that's what we want to see. What I would like to see is a world where we can give Kerry Washington props, because she's playing a dynamic character that's multifaceted and isn't always an upstanding beacon and paragon of virtue. That's equality to me. Equality isn't, well, white men get awards for playing the guy who cheats on his wife and sells drugs, but black women can only get awards if they act totally right, they don't have any affairs, they don't ever do anything wrong. Like, to me, that's not equality, and I call bullshit on that. So I want us to be able to have true equality, where you get award for your performance. Like, she did such a good job as an actress, because I know that she's not like that I can be like, yeah, why can't we give award to Viola Davis? Why can't we do that? I don't think we should just be like, well, with these minority roles, we need you to play it 100% straight. I really love the show Blackish, because Andre, played by Anthony Anderson, is a very flawed character. He's not right all the time.
Howard too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh goodness! I was gonna say we watch Blackish, but see, that to me, that's an example of diverse representation. It's also a scripted show, so I don't watch any reality TV, but I do watch on occasion scripted shows, and I like Blackish. So,
yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't write Andre's character as oh, let's make him black, but we need to make him safe. Like, we don't want him to ever be wrong. We want him to always be kind of like the straight man, because they'll do that with characters where they want you to like him. They'll be like, oh, he's not really funny. He just walks into these situations. He's so upset. But no, Andre's wrong pretty much every show. Like he just goes too far with something, and you're like, damn, he's fucking this up as the show gets worse and worse. You know, until
That's why Rainbow is so awesome. Go
that's
Bo!
Bo is awesome. And Bo, you know what? And Bo is flawed as well sometimes. You know,
He is flawed and awesome with beautiful hair and amazing lipstick. Okay,
it is amazing. And you know, she got that ass too.
I was just about to say, you talking about
fine. Nah, she's beautiful.
I knew Ron was gonna say something about her butt.
Hey man, it's ridiculous.
She said when she's taping, you get her hair and her ass, and it's true, and her lips.
She put the Instagram out there for people to see, so I don't feel like I'm objectifying her any more than she wants to be. But yes, but you know, like she can be flawed, and that's, to me, that's beautiful. And I hope that, like, to me, I haven't watched a lot of sitcoms this year, but they should be in the awards, in the running for some awards, because it's so well done, and it's not. And the thing is, it's not exclusive to black people, so it's not one of those things where like, oh, it's so well done, but it's because I'm black that I can understand. You know, my white friends watch that show and they're like, you know, they feel like, you know, they're all racially, what do you call it, insecure. So they're like, hey man, do you watch, I'm not trying to be racist, but, do you watch Blackish? I'm like, yeah, it's really good. I'm like, I know. Yeah, it's really good, man. Did you see the last episode about Sam? I'm like, I did. And they love the show too, which gives me kind of a barometer like, oh, this isn't a race thing. It's just a well done show.
But remember,
yes, amen.
But remember the pushback that it got when it first aired. Oh my God, number one, I can't believe they named this show Blackish. Oh my God, I
never understood any pushback because I didn't even understand why they were complaining about the title. I just didn't understand what it meant. But when I watched the first episode, I knew exactly what it meant. So I was like, oh, okay, I got it.
Black shit. You guys talking about the black shit. That's what it really means, black shit. Not sort of black, like purplish, black, no, blackish as in black shit. They knew what they were doing.
But I think a lot of black people, we hate ourselves sometimes, and we shouldn't. Like, it's kind of like how people hate the BET Awards, but the fucking BET Awards the only award show I watch. I don't watch the Grammys. I don't watch the American Music Awards. I don't watch the Oscars. I don't watch any of that shit because they don't represent me. They don't have my interest in mind at all. Black people always get put on the back burner. Iggy Azalea catch a Grammy or some shit, and we supposed to act like that represents hip-hop? No. But I watch the BET Awards with fucking pride because I'm like, black people pick that shit. And that's why Nicki won over Iggy and then shaded her ass right there from the stage because that's how we feel. And I think that, to me, that's way more power and way more, like, I actually root for that, you know, more than I root for, like, oh, I just want us to get this understanding from a white space. I don't care what they, you know, like, at the end of the day, I can't allow them to have power over my life in a way that I allow their accolades to legitimize people because they'll never pick the people that we pick because they don't care what we think. And I feel like people did that with Blackish a little bit, like, oh, a black show, well, it's probably not gonna be good. And so it's like, well, it's black, it's not running away from being black, and it's actually well done. Larry Wilmore's on it.
At all.
Yeah, you know, Lawrence Fishburne's been great on there. Jennifer Lewis has been great on there. There hasn't been any episode that I turned off and was like, well, not tonight. Every episode I ended like, oh my God, I can't believe they're keeping this streak going. So yeah, I love Blackish.
Talk about topics like they talked about. I remember the spanking episode. Like they made that so funny, and you were able to go back and talk about corporal punishment at work. You were able to, I mean, you know, it was just so well done. But remember when it first started, people were so, oh my God, how is this gonna make us look? How now, you know, it's on television, how are white people gonna feel about this glimpse into this community? Or even because they were an upper middle class family trying to maintain their sense of blackness in a white world. Oh my God, you know, now they're gonna know that we actually think about that kind of thing instead of it being, you know, a rainbow world for everybody. I mean, it was like all this stuff, and I'm just like, my God, people just watch TV.
Just like, watch the show, yeah. And I like it.
The writing staff.
They're trying to get on. They're trying to get on the side of already criticizing before white people get a chance to. So they want to say, look. I don't like it either, like you.
Yeah, and the writing staff is already, like, the writing staff exists in the same world as us. They're mostly black. They've already thought of this. So it's not like they're writing this show going, man, what will black people think? They're writing this show with the pressure of like, look, we want black people to love this, we want white people to love this, we want everybody to love this. It's important.
We want it to be a good show.
Right.
Yeah.
And it comes across that way. Like, I mean, if you think about it, that spanking episode came on the heels of the Adrian Peterson.
It sure did.
Yeah.
It sure did.
Shut it down. Like, I actually went on Twitter because it made such a compelling argument for both sides, and it kind of ultimately landed on the safe side of like, look, man, we gotta let this whooping shit go. And it was kind of cool because I went on Twitter before I even saw the episode and was like, oh, people that don't whoop their kids is terrible parents. And then like the next tweet would be like, people that whoop their kids is terrible parents. and people was really like intense about that because of the episode. They was like, yeah, you saw the episode too? I thought they should have did this and other. And I was like, I love that it's resonating with an issue for black people, because we got issues and we should be able to talk about them without feeling like judged all the goddamn time.
Exactly. Right. We got a lot of comments in the chat. First of all, and I had this one pulled up a while back. Shout out to Aaron Ashley3 Classy from the Black Astronauts podcast. He said, being Greek, did you notice the difference in opinion from young Greeks to older Greeks? I thought that I would see a difference. I thought that the younger ones were going to be more accepting and the older ones were going to be just out of control. But actually, I follow a Neosor on Twitter who was on our last undergraduate chapter line, and she was super upset. And I was actually surprised because I was like, oh, well, she's young. And she was like, this is a travesty. The founders are rolling over in their graves, whatever. And I just knew. And when I was tweeting, I was like, she's going to be like, Lord, my profile is crazy. But I wasn't expecting her to be upset about it. I was expecting my mom to be upset, and she was. Because this was her 50th, anniversary in Delta or whatever. But yeah, I didn't see a huge difference. Let's see. LB says he agrees with Lady Buddha. He didn't get the resistance black folks had to the title of Blackish. He understood it was rooted in that concern for how we look in front of white people, but because he doesn't have that fear, their judgment, the title never bothered him. But you're also racist, so I mean,
can't take him too serious.
I think Smart just dropped. Okay, I'll send it. Let's see. Oh, Jeffrey said his brother told him that moonshine makes your car go if you put the moonshine in your car. I would assume that it would evoke any type of just like how Coca-Cola killed a car battery. I would assume that moonshine would do the same thing, but I don't know about that. Hold on, I'm inviting Miss Smart back. Okay, tell her I just sent the invite. Okay. Somebody said I saw something. I'm skipping Hustle Crow's.
Yes, I see him trolling.
I ain't even playing with him. Let me see. Somebody said, Michelle said, how long will we find out some of the women on the show aren't actually in a sorority?
Actually, we know some of them are. I think everybody have been researching everybody they've seen.
Even the one that they were charging up, she is a soror. Everybody's experience is not the same, but she is.
That's right. We were able to kind of trace it on back. Get some years, dates, and locations.
But and that's the part. So y'all didn't watch it, but the first thing that happened was she got charged up because when they met. Basically they asked her, like, where did you pledge, blah, 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 and she said quite a few years ago, instead of saying.
I saw that in the extended trailer.
Yeah, and they were like, well, how come, see, I only watched part of this in the trailer, but so they got on her because she couldn't tell all of her credentials or, whatever, and it is true, like, I know the time that I crossed, I know, all that stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not legit. It just may mean that there was something about your process that you aren't necessarily proud of. And there are ways to find out whether or not somebody's real or not. But
they did a horrible job of showing it on the show, because you need to edit the conversation to show that she didn't know what she was talking about and made Priyanka be suspicious.
I'm mad you know her name, because
I know. I'm like, what?
Look, man, I know my drugs, okay? If you're gonna be on this shit, you need to be about it, okay? I'm not ashamed at all. But they should have showed in the conversation through the edits, like, oh, she didn't seem to know when she crossed. She didn't call out any of her line sisters. She didn't say what year. You like stuff that so you can be like, okay, she's lying about something. They really just made it seem like Priyanka just walked up to her and was like, you ain't really AKA, you ain't about this life. Like, it was so badly done, and that's why I came across poor to me.
It was, and that's where I felt like the scripted part came in, because all of these women, from what they said on the show, I think the youngest one pledged in like 2007. By the time you get to be a certain age, you're not walking up to folks on the street being like,
No, you're
name the founders. What
not.
you're not doing all that. Name all your line sisters from so and so. You're not doing that. So when they did that,
No, you're
like, what they're doing is it's almost like watching School Days. It's like the people who create the show were like, well, what happens in this situation? So they're like, oh, well, this happened. So they're like, okay, do it. And that's what, it just, hold on, let me.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for another link.
Yeah, because I just,
I think you sent it to me again.
I sent it to her.
Okay.
Okay, I just tried it again.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna do another one. Hold on, let me try this.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the part that, because they're not the ones right, people probably who aren't in these organizations who have heard about things happening, trying to get these storylines, whatever. And the other thing was like the interaction between the Deltas and the AKAs. Yes, we get like the backstory and the beef or whatever, but I've never seen that actually happen.
No one has ever seen that.
No, and I was, it was actually, I was tweeting the AKAs at FAM. We were talking back and forth because we're friends. Like,
and our chapters are named the same thing.
Hello, and that should be a huge thing. There's Beta Alpha Deltas at FAM and Beta Alpha Deltas at AKAs at FAM.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't fight on the yard and roll our eyes and stuff like that. When I joined a running club a couple of years ago, called Pretty Girls Run, and I didn't realize it was all AKAs from FAM. And so when I showed up for practice, I'm like, hold the hell up. Like, wait a minute. They didn't like, oh my God, what's that Delta doing on the track stretching?
I'm going to see if Blue can bring up the little statue that my aunt, most of my family are AKAs and legacy AKAs, and so my aunt actually got a little statue for me and my cousin that has like, we are family, and it's like an AKA and a Delta holding hands. I mean, it's just not that serious, but
but it makes good TV. Like, it makes good TV.
It makes spectacle.
I mean, the whole thing is kind of like an artificial concept anyway. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to create these battle lines on reality TV. Like, they can't just be like people getting along. And I feel like it just like anything else, sororities kind of lend themselves to like, hey, we can have an artificial battle line, and they're just looking for a hook. It could have been anything. It could be the Love of Black podcast next year. Like, they just want to have something so they can base a groundwork off of it. The people are going to act the same no matter what it is. So for it to be sororities or whatever, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, it could have been, doing hair or cutting grass. Like, they just want to create some division, or at least some statuses for them to be like, oh, Deltas are this way, AKAs are this way. Of course they're fighting. That's all they want to do. Yeah,
you mentioned it could be it could, and Smart for some reason she can't get back on the chat, so she can't get back in the Hangout, so she's trying one more thing to try to get back in. So that's why I keep pausing, trying to help her get back in. But you said a reality show for podcasting. Like, I could see some of that happening. Like, I could see, like, being like, okay, well, let's email somebody and be a guest on the show. And then you like, well, how come they show on at Tuesdays at 8 and I show on at Tuesdays at 8 and blah, 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 blah. Or they go into Rod and Karen's house, and then all of a sudden, Rod, why you ain't wash these fucking dishes? You've been in the house all goddamn day. Da, 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 da. And then you're like, I love you too, baby. I mean,
I will pretend to not like all of y'all for the check. So I can do that for 22 episodes. I can pretend to be like, moonshine, ain't shit. I hate them. They the worst. Why they be doing shows when we be doing shows? I'll be willing to do it so we can all get paid, and then we can all go like to an island on vacation with our my money and hang out together. But you think I won't sell out? quick.
And that's the other thing too we talked about is that because when everybody was talking about, boycott the sponsors, I was like, okay, but these are people who actually chose to do this show. If anything, if you really didn't want to have that representation, why aren't you talking to the women who chose to do the show? Probably because you know that this person made a personal choice. Like, they have two people from the same chapter on the show, a Profite and a Neo. And I was like, that whole chapter could have been like, y'all know y'all need to shut that down. You know, whatever. But then on the other hand, they're getting publicity for their careers, for the shootique or whatever the hell they were trying to do for their business. But they're using that as a platform to do something else. So they thought about the implications of it, and they decided to go ahead and do it anyway.
Also, are you going to take down Hershey's? Come on, man.
No.
This ain't going to be what's going to... You got to pick your targets, man. Like, that's one thing about the boycott culture that's gotten so out of control is a lot of people think that, one, they think that if you boycott something and you win, quote unquote, you put them out of business or you make them apologize, that you're right. And that's not true. I don't know how much you guys know about Gamergate, but it was basically a very sexist, misogynistic attempt to silence female gamers and female critics of the misogyny in games. And these motherfuckers got a couple of big companies to withdraw their advertising from websites and to apologize. But the people that got them to do that were just sexist, misogynist pigs. Like, they were threatening them with all kind, like they would flood their servers with emails. They were calling people's companies and like bombarding them with phone calls to the point where they harass good companies out of supporting good work. Wow. And I think that people felt like, well, that's because we're right, because we made this company apologize and withdraw their advertising dollars from this website, so we must be right. And it's like, no, just because you can boycott doesn't mean you're right. And if you are able to get something done, that doesn't make you right. It's the morals of it, does it make Paula Deen right when conservatives go and make sure she gets another TV show, or they go to her restaurant with a line outside of the door? No, it doesn't. So I feel like a lot of people take a little too much pride in boycotting shit when we really should be able to be like, yeah, I just don't like this show and I'm not gonna watch it.
Exactly.
Bill Cosby said y'all just need to be neutral about everything.
That's true. We all the black men.
You need to hold yourself to a higher standard. You need to be neutral until all the facts are come out.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're back.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm on my phone, but I just wanted to make sure y'all can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. Your sound is actually better on your phone.
Great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I know Buddha has to go in a second because she got the bambinos in.
I know, I got stepmom duty.
But Rod, we have really enjoyed having you on. We got to get you on again soon.
For sure.
Okay, so your name is Black Daniels, just so you know.
Okay.
That's gonna be your whiskey, wine, and moonshine name whenever you come on. It's gonna be Black Daniels.
All right, I'll support that.
Rod, tell them where they can find you at.
You can find me at The Black Guy Who Tips on iTunes and Stitcher. Just search The Black Guy Who Tips. It's a comedy podcast that I do with my wife, Karen. You might know her from this show. She's been on several times. And you can also go to our website, theblackguywhotips.com. We have all our podcasts there. We do premium shows, and they're about everything: movies, sports, cooking, interviews, like just everything you could think of. Just about, we talk about it. And the motto of our show is "Nothing's wrong if it's funny." So if you do come, be prepared to laugh. Do understand that we are pretty irreverent, even when we're talking about very serious topics. We try to be serious and then get our laugh on. So we encourage any of you guys to come over there. And of course, obviously, we support the ladies of Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine. They've been on our show several times. So if you guys ever, catch them, I'm sure we'll have you guys on soon again. So if you ever see them coming over there, come listen to them, be ratchet with us.
The other thing before we go into our cheers is I forgot to say this at the beginning of the show, is that's one of the things that all three of us really enjoy about your podcast is that y'all, first of all, y'all funny as hell, but also that you can talk about any range of topics and you still feel good after listening to the show, even when it's like really serious, like
Yeah.
hard stuff. Because we've had a lot of hard stuff these last few months,
A lot.
and I like coming, and one thing all of us like coming and listening to you guys talk about it, because you talk about it in a way that doesn't leave you feeling drained when it's all over, you know.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
we pride ourselves on laughing and having a good time, and it's weird because ironically, like, it's become an important like goal for us. Like, there's so many shows, there's so many black shows especially, and we, black people, we've had a lot to gripe about these last few this year, 2014. Man, let me tell you something. When January 31st come, I'm kicking 2014's ass out the front door. Goodbye. But we have a lot of grief that we have dealt with over the past year, and it's really been good to have a place like, we want to have a place where people can go and kind of feel like camaraderie, but also feel like, oh, we're gonna be entertained. And I think it's really important, because if we would have done, I mean, there's already enough Ferguson shows, there's already enough Trayvon Martin shows, there's already enough black people telling people like, yo, this is no joke. So we want to have a place for those black people to go and be like, oh, let's play some Guess the Race and be racist.
right. And y'all have a hell of a lot of content. Like, the premium content is off the chain. That's why I haven't been able to list all the premium shows, because I'm still trying to get through the regular content. So it's always something. So I mean, definitely, y'all are awesome. Like, it's everything. So we do thank you for coming on. We're gonna go ahead and do our cheers and then wrap it on up for the night. Booty, who you got cheers for?
I got cheers for Jelani Cobb, who is a historian and professor. He taught at Spelman for about 10 years. He's been posting on Twitter and Facebook and really kind of battling the Cosby capes. And just talking about the fact that, like, today, I think his post was about the fact that as a professor, that several young women, entrusted him with sexually assaulted, and kind of the reasons why they weren't coming forward. And he was kind of using that as a way to kind of clap back at people who are complaining about the amount of time that has passed, for a lot of the survivors, who are sharing their stories right now. He's basically like, they have all kinds of reasons why they aren't telling you. So I'm so sorry it's not convenient for you, but it's a serious thing. So anyway, he's been battling, and really giving a lot of pushback to a lot of different people, and very reasoned, in a very reasoned way, and I felt like he was being a really good ally, so I thanked him offline, but I also just wanted to give him cheers today, because I really, really appreciate that. And you can catch me on Twitter. Right now my handle is NDC HARP, like the instrument, a harp, NDC harp. And you can catch me on my blog. I'm going to try to get another one out before the end of the year, the last couple of weeks we have. But I'm at Coco Studio, COCO Studio, singular, cocostudio.com. What about y'all?
Smart.
Oh wait, I got to do my cheers. So I would like to give my cheers to Lady Buddha and Sojo. And I won't say why, so maybe in a year if somebody reminds me, LB, remind me why. And so I also can be reached at think_P_smart. That's on Twitter. That's all I got. Bye.
All right, so my cheers are gonna go to my special Leontine Brown, and also Monica Williams Harris, who is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, because the two of them actually were the ones who initiated the Divine Nine National Die-Ins. So just when y'all were thinking we weren't getting along, you had an AKA and a Delta come together and say, hey, we really don't have a visible presence, with the whole Ferguson and New York, whatever. Let's try to do something as Greek letter organizations. And so the two of them were the ones who spearheaded all those Greek die-ins that you guys, started seeing last week or whatever. And so I did want to give my cheers to them, because they have done an awesome job. They have a Facebook page, and it's for people who are members of Greek letter organizations and also people who are not. It's all inclusive. And they do have a Facebook page, which is the Divine Nine National Die-In. So if you guys want to join that page to find out what's going on, you all can definitely do that. Y'all can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @SOJOXOXO. My website is feminyin.com, FEMINYIN.com. Collectively, you guys can find us at whiskeywineandmoonshine.com. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podomatic, Facebook, Twitter, everything. But we will see you guys actually not until 2015.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're going to take 2 weeks off to celebrate the holidays. We may do some throwback podcasts, or maybe we might upload a surprise off the cuff one, so we don't know. But we will definitely see you all in 2015. And thanks, Rod, again for joining us.
No problem. Thank you, guys. And I like to give my cheers to Karen because she got a bonus this week at work. And her work has been on fleek lately, so I'm sure.
Shout out to Karen. Congrats on that bonus. And so I guess we'll see you guys in 2015. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.